Good afternoon, this is Jacob Schilling. I'm here with Ramses Ramirez in the UCCS Library to record an oral history for the Digital Veterans Story Project on the 9th of February 2015. Good afternoon, Ramses.
Good afternoon as well. Let's see where to start off. I guess start off with my background, where I come from. I'm from San Diego. After high school, I was thinking about joining the military. And I didn't. I ended up going to community college for a year or two. From there, I kind of got tired of the books, studying all that, and I was like, kind of wanted more adventure. So I decided to join the military, the Army, and from there, and it's about 2010, I went to basic training as an infantryman. 11 Bravo. Completed basic training. Volunteered for airborne school. Got that. So that was kind of cool because I was looking for adventure. Everyone wants to be that next. Everyone just military wants to be, a ranger, special forces, and all that. But in reality, you don't always get to do that. It's only if you're qualified, meet all the requirements. Went to airborne school. Straight from airborne school, went straight to Germany, and then I was stationed at Hohenfels, Germany, with the 1-4 infantry regiment, which they were like a training unit at the time. From there, I volunteered to deploy with the 172nd Brigade, which was out of Grafenwehr, Germany, and didn't even train with them, probably just 1 month, and then straight to Afghanistan. I was at Bob Tillman, which everyone knows that place from the famous Pat Tillman, who obviously sacrificed his life or quit football to go and join the Army. I was near where he, died, and that was kind of cool. Because where he was at, we were only about 3 clicks, which, for those who don't know, clicks is 3 kilometers from the Pakistan border. So he just kind of taught me more perspective, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and that was kind of cool. Let's see, being there, man, it sucked. A lot of walking. We have no vehicles. No vehicles at all. Everything was true light infantry. A lot of walking up in the mountains for no reason sometimes. The majority of the time you just walked with all your body armor and your rucksack, and your back would hurt, and you didn't even care if any enemy popped up or anything. You were just so tired, you just wouldn't even care. That's how much you thought about it. Just up mountains all the time. I was an RTO for the commander. So
now, what does that mean, RTO?
It's radio. Shoot, I forgot. Telephone operator.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, radio telephone operator, which carried the radio, and at first I got mad having that job because you don't want to be the RTO. You want to be the guy with the, I wouldn't say the 240, it sucks, and you have to carry that, but just regular rifleman or grenadier. But because I was used to being on the line, which has been being up with your team. But then RTO, kind of deals. You gotta be more intelligent, I guess. I didn't know that they liked me because I could carry the radio and I could kind of communicate well with the higher ups, and kind of just if anything happened, for just personal experience, everything's out of my mouth is my opinion. I don't talk about anybody else's point of view. Just everything's my point of view and what I think about it. So, when we would get in contact, the enemy, I would have to communicate, with the higher ups and just tell them what's happening. And people, my first one was, I was yelling on the thing, and then, the people back in the talk were always like, calm down and just talk to me. And you have to learn just talk. You can't talk faster. You can't yell. It's not going to help. So you're getting shot at. You're getting mortared at, and you just have to talk normal, which is harder than people think. So I mean, that actually taught me how to be calm in situations, and just when something comes up, just think. Don't panic. Think of what your options are, and training kind of helped with that. Just something happens, don't freak out. Just kind of go with it, and just speak, communicate. Because if you don't communicate, then it could result in lives being lost, or just any bad things would happen. From there on, I got pretty good at it. I was commander's RTO. Every platoon leader wanted me to go out with them, but I hated going out. Not because I was scared or afraid to fight with them, but I hated carrying that big ruck up mountains and walking for forever. And because every time you went out, it's not like you went into contact every time. A lot of times you just went out, you could walk, sit on top of a mountain, freeze your balls, you wouldn't sleep, you'd be hungry, you just want to get back, and pretty much just chill. And I didn't volunteer to go out all the time, but then that first month, I want to go out, get out, get my CIB, this and that. That's all you thought about it when, always thought of like wars and all this personal stuff. And after that, you're just kind of like, I don't care anymore. I don't want to go out. I'm tired of walking. This is turning into more of a hassle for me.
Now, CIB, that's the Combat Infantryman's Badge. What did that mean? I know we explained the acronym, but what did that mean to get it, to have earned one?
I mean, it means a lot because I remember when I first got it. I always remember when you got it, your first. It's defined as you being shot at and you returning fire. So it's kind of different from a CAB, which is a combat action badge, which I think all it requires is like you being shot at or a mortar kind of being hit near you. They have two different issues. But a CIB is more just for infantrymen. It's because I was an infantryman, so I get a CIB, but I've had, mechanics, generator mechanic, I've had scouts, or whoever the case would be. They did my job, but they received a CAB and not a CIB just because of the title of what I was. It means a lot. I remember the ceremony when we first received it from the battalion commander. What was his name? Shoot, it's only been a year since it's been out. I already forget people's names. Well, anyways, I remember he had a big speech about how many people actually receive a CIB, and I was only, one of the few that actually received it. So it means a lot actually. Now that I go back and think about it, not that many people actually receive one, so it's huge.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a big video. If you go to, I think on YouTube, he's on there. I actually looked it up on 228 Infantry, 172nd Brigade. He makes a big speech in Bob Tillman, and he actually puts up the stats of who receives it and who didn't. And he makes a big deal about it that I didn't know, because you would think that everyone just that goes and deploys, receives all this stuff, but it's not true. Some people don't do much, and some do more than others. Yeah.
Yeah. So other than climb mountains, what did you do out there?
Just our job was to disrupt the enemy's movement, which is meant go out and kind of, making sure that they weren't bringing supplies in from Pakistan. And that was only some of the few things.
Are there any moments that stand out in your memory?
Yeah, there are a lot of them. There's some where I was actually just sleeping and you hear just back and forth, just a whistle of a mortar or rockets, and and so close, and then the impacts, just sleeping, and you just got used to it. And like I remember, I hear one, I'm like, all right, I'm good. It sounded like it sounded pretty close, but I'm gonna keep sleeping because you're so tired. And another one comes like, damn, like, I gotta wake up now. And the third one comes, the fourth one time. I think a record, we got hit like 15 rockets at one time. I remember one of the memories was it blew up a generator and put the fob on fire, and we were not even there. We were out in a little outpost, and we could just see the flames, and we're like, man, something bad's going on there. So we had like half the company out, and then with half the company over there, and they were struggling because we weren't there, and so that's one of the memories. Other memories is just things exploding around me, shots being fired above my head, people getting hurt. One guy gets shot 3 times in 3 different occasions. Not 1, 2. 2 times, 2 different occasions. So he got shot one time in the hand, and then he came back, and then he got shot again. Imagine his luck. He survived. That was good. I don't remember his name. Yeah. And I ended up seeing him. He works now in the VA. And that's cool to see him. We always have something to talk about. It's funny when you see people that you showed with over there, and you kind of have things in common that other people don't have in common.
Do you feel like there is a bond kind of forged by combat, by people who experience it together?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like the things you talk about or the things you experience, it just other people don't get it. Like you always have that bond. You always know, like if you need to call somebody about something, like you can get a hold of them, and they're just more understanding. Or the things you went through, it's just nobody else can even come close, compare, or try to even feel what you felt. Just only you talk to me. I mean, jokingly about anything that happened, jokes, but just serious things as well. I think the bond you build. I mean, now it's better because of social. Like the internet, you're always keeping in touch with them. Like even if it's like, hey man, what's up, or you just post something, and kind of like it on Facebook. But everyone has those memories, and every once in a while, like someone mentions something on Facebook, just something little, and then like everyone just starts laughing. It's experience you have.
Have you found that you miss that at all now that you're out?
I don't miss it, but if they asked me like to go back again, I probably would. Just because I feel like I kind of have responsibility to go. It's kind of like your leaders have responsibility to take care of you, and then like I would have to, now being a veteran, like, I would have to kind of teach the young guys so that I can take care of them. Almost kind of, I don't know. I feel like I would want to go back if something ever happened.
That makes sense. And you said you don't miss it. Have you? Has it been difficult to make connections with civilians who don't really know what you've gone through, or?
That's a good question, because I mean I don't like to tell people I was in the military or anything, or like try to make it seem like, oh, I was like hot shit or whatever. I mean, there's some people that are like, oh, I was this, I was that, but I don't want to use me being in the military as like an advantage for anything. Like I just try to make it seem like I wasn't in the military. If that makes any sense, kind of.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like some people feel like they're entitled to things, like because they were in the military, this or that. But I don't like to be that guy, like that feels I need to be entitled for anything. Like I did it. I mean, it's not like I was drafted. I volunteered for it, and I don't expect anything from anybody.
That makes a lot of sense. Make it on your own merit.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned a little earlier how being an RTO really helped you be calm under pressure and think things through logically. Have you found that helps you in even civilian life?
Yeah, it does. Just like sometimes I just get like little flashbacks. Like, okay, like if I get in just for example, like if I get in a car crash, like I know how to report it. It's like, hey, it's 5:00 p.m. I'm right here on highway heading east. And always just be so descriptive. Just every little detail helps. The weather is every little thing, like the weather, the street, what direction you're heading. What happened. Anyone hurt. Just any little thing. Like just like I feel like I always say like, all right, this happens. Like this is all the things I need to say. That's kind of things I think about, not even situations, but just in anything. I always just kind of when I talk to people, like giving them directions, like, oh, you know where this is at? I'm like, yeah, just go up the hill about 400 meters, and then take a left, and then then keep heading west, and then just direction things. Like I have better, I can describe direction better to people.
Yeah, I can see how that would translate and be useful.
Yeah.
Now, as far as, I guess, civilians or even other vets, what would you want to say to them, from your experience, from your unique place in life? What would you want them to know?
You see, to civilians, just from my personal experience, if you're looking for adventure, go out and do it. Like, I'm only 26 years old, but I feel like I've experienced a lot that other people feel like they experience. Like, you don't experience it, like, in Call of Duty or sitting in the couch, or, thinking or, I want to do this. If you don't actually do it, like, whether it be traveling, going to different cultures, you don't have to necessarily go to combat or war. You just want to go do something, go travel, go different countries, cultures, go backpack somewhere, backpack South America, Europe, experience life. Other thing I would say is civilians, young ones actually just, it's hard to say because I wasn't that person, but to be more mature, and kind of just live life in a responsible way. Just, to veterans, I'll say, don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't feel like you need. I always hear people like, "Oh, I didn't get this disability. I didn't get." I hate how vets feel like they're entitled to things when they're not. They're taking it from people that actually need it. And that's the one thing I really hate. That's when they say, "Oh yeah, I got 90% disability because of my knee." I'm like, what the heck, I don't know. I just get angry about that. I don't know what to think about it. But all power to you. I guess I'm jealous because I didn't, but I'm not. Yeah.
Well, that kind of reminds me of when I was serving with the infantry, it was always, let's give it to the guy who needs it most. Do you feel like that was an attitude that your unit had too?
Yeah, I always felt like, like they always took care of us pretty good. Like, not just like with everything, like, make sure we were fed. That's one thing. Always make sure we had food, make sure we had somewhere to sleep. Everything was pretty good. But I don't know. I'm not too sure on that. Like, other than like what I was talking about this, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
I'm just curious. About the camaraderie and the bonds, we've been talking about, and I'm not sure if it translates to the civilian side, like in a group project, for example. Mm-hmm. Have you had any experience with that?
I've had group projects with. It's funny because I've had two veterans on my projects. Like, And we always, like, I just did one last week. But, we just started talking about just dumb things that people wouldn't understand. Like, other students, like, oh, this. Let's put a perfect example. He told me, I'm not even gonna say name, but he just told me, he was like, yeah, I was talking to this one girl, and she's young, stupid, 19-year-old, just got out of high school and doesn't know shit about life. And that's what he told me. He was like, and he told the girls, like, I forgot what they were talking about. They're like, oh yeah, like, they're talking about partying and this, and this girl's like, oh, I don't do any of that stuff. And I was like, well, you need to, because you're too stuck up and you need to go party more. And she's like, no, I'm not a slut. And I was like, I'm not saying you're a slut. You just need to have fun and stop, being, so much into books and all that.
To experience life,
yeah,
like you said earlier.
Yeah, to experience life a little more. Like, they don't know what it is, kind of, I guess. Don't take it for granted, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to take life for granted after you've been shot at.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But yeah, with me and we got to talking. This happened just last week. We just got talking about the stupid little things about, like, how we're, how, like, we should teach classes in military kind of transitions, like teaching PowerPoint here is still death by PowerPoint some of the times. So.
Yep, it still is. That's for sure. Well, Ramses, is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the interview. Once again, this is Jacob Schilling with Ramses Ramirez. We've been in the UCCS library on the 9th of February, 2015.